This week on Ryan and Megan, we cover moving back into our RV and our first travel assignment back on the road.
Welcome into episode number 11. We're your hosts, Ryan and Megan. We're two traveling physical therapists, and we are on the road with our two daughters. So we're a traveling family. That makes us a little unique. And today we're going to be covering our first travel assignment with both of our girls on the road.
Before we cover that, if you could, just please leave us a 5-star review on wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're watching us here on YouTube, we greatly appreciate you also. Please hit that like button, consider subscribing. And then really, if you could, leave a comment. That's what helps the algorithm so we can get this video out to more people. Mm-hmm. Like Megan said, like I said at the beginning, we have officially moved into the RV.
We're coming to you from the RV Dinette.
Yes, so we're kind of testing out some new studio space. We're not in our kitchen at our home anymore.
We're flanked on both sides by our children.
Sleeping,
yeah.
So we'll see how well that goes. Hopefully the whole RV doesn't shake too much as we move around. Just some different elements we are dealing with here. But we are officially in the RV.
We are, and we've been here for... What's today? Thursday. So math.
We got
probably
in
about 4 days.
We got in last Saturday. So we haven't been here a full
6.
We haven't been here a full week, but it's felt like we've been here a full week.
It does. Let's cover the move a little bit, how we went about it and how it went. I'll start by saying we only had to travel like 2 hours to our new location from our house. So there was a little bit less pressure on feeling like we had to be fully committed to what we were bringing or what we weren't bringing, because we knew we could go back home or we could buy something if there was some sort of emergency and we forgot or we overpacked.
We really stuck to our packing list that we went over a couple episodes ago.
We definitely tried.
And mostly because we felt a lot more comfortable, I think, now doing that, because we knew we could go back home for the holidays. And if we were really forgetting something, we're like, oh man, we need something, then we could go get it, whether from the store or when we actually go back home for the holidays here soon.
Yes. So sticking to the traveling sticking to the packing checklist was a little bit challenging. For, I would say, the girls especially. I did not stick to our whole clothing outline. We didn't really specify that for kids anyway, but they just go through so many outfits and they have so many cute outfits that I couldn't leave them because that would be so sad.
Especially with how young our girls are. Their clothes are very, very tiny. So you can pack a lot more into their suitcase. And like Megan said, they get dirty so quick that you need more outfits. So
Ryan felt like he had a lot of trouble packing. You were packing, you were like, this is hard.
I did. I was going off our packing list and I was just like, man, I got a lot of shirts I want to take for some odd reason. And I usually don't have too hard of a time. My wardrobe is actually very, very minimal to start with.
Very minimal.
But I was really wanting to keep to that packing list the best I could. And it was a struggle, but I was able to. And now that we're here in the RV, that feels good. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not missing anything yet.
Yeah. I didn't pack according to the list because I didn't have it in front of me and I wasn't looking at it, but I feel like I did it pretty well.
Megan did very well. I have to admit, she was like, yep, I'm all packed up.
I don't know how.
Her suitcase had extra stuff in there.
Extra room for toiletries and shoes, which never happens.
I was like, who is this woman?
And then I put it back in our closet space within a 5-minute period, and I had space for it all to fit. It was a weird feeling because that's never happened to me before. But I will say, totally forgot the sleepwear category. So I just sleep in the 5 shirts that I brought.
So anyway, yeah, we didn't move very far away. We're about an hour 40 from our house, so very close. This is a great location, I think, for that first travel assignment where we're testing everything out. We're testing, how does our family do with the RV life? How do we do as a family of 4 now on the road? And so we drove on Saturday. Didn't take very long. Your mom ended up coming with us.
Yeah, and
That
I will
was a
say
huge
that's the other
bonus.
thing that was a huge help. And it was only possible because we were so close. But if we were to have done all of the moving and the not only moving the RV to a new place, but we were moving everything into the RV when we got here because it's our first full-time trip in the RV. So it wasn't already pre-packed with stuff. I mean, it had some stuff from a few camping trips we had done, but not to the full-time living capacity. So when we were packing for this trip, we packed stuff into the cars with the intention to move it all into the RV once we got there. So you might be in a different situation where you've already used it and you've had your RV packed and you don't have to do nearly as much moving in. But all of that to say, if we had to do the moving into the RV and watch the children at the same time, it would have been way more complicated.
Yes, if you're traveling with kids, that's something to consider. Is one of you is probably going to have to be watching the kids, and then the other one's kind of doing the unpacking. It's totally doable, just everything's going to take 4 times as long to set up. And so we recognized that we were going to have to set up our whole new RV.
And that means organize it and figure out what works best and where do you want things.
Stuff. Yes, so it was we were very grateful for Megan's mom making the trip with us, and watching Reagan mostly as she kind of ran around, and then Megan and I could kind of just start setting up things with the RV. Now that everything's set up in the RV, I feel like our next move will be a lot easier than this last one because we have things in cabinets now, and all we have to do is we pull in our slides, put everything in ride mode, and we can hook up the trailer and go. So that will be really nice for wherever we head to next.
Yeah. So that was kind of the move in. We do still have to skirt the RV to kind of keep it winter friendly and keep the pipes from freezing. And we did not do that yet. And Ryan was thinking about doing that on Sunday, the day after we moved in, which if the weather called for it and it was necessary, it would have been possible. But it was kind of nice just to have kind of 2 days together to attack things and get things organized versus if he would have worked on that, it would have been an all-day project on Sunday and very intensive for you to get that done. And me, I would have to be completely focused on the girls and a new environment and with the new living space. And it just would have been a little bit more stressful. So
right.
We do stuff to do that.
I think another thing I would add to the move is since Megan's staying in the RV with the girls during the day, stay-home mom, woot woot, we did bring another vehicle. And so we have my little home health car. We also have the truck that pulled the trailer. So we did have to drive 2 vehicles here. And even though it wasn't a very long trip, the girls did fine. If we have something longer, we're still going to have to drive 2 vehicles. And that's just something that's probably going to slow us down a little bit more because if the girls need something, we don't have one of us sitting in the passenger seat to kind of quell the storm that's going on in the back and just keep on the road. So something to consider for you out there, even if you don't have a family. If you're a couple traveling maybe in an RV, a lot of times you need 2 commuter vehicles. Most of the time, not every time, but you might be commuting separately.
Mm-hmm.
So once we got here, the RV park has been great.
Yep.
It's been nice. It's a little bit more campground feel than some RV parks that we've stayed at or seen are very like gravel parking lot RVs like stacked back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
This has some trees around it, has a nicer feel to
There's
it.
There's a little playground. That's really helped. So we go spend hours out there every day. Yeah, so we're kind of moving into like what the RV life has been like so far.
How do you feel like it's been?
I think it's been pretty good. I was really nervous. I didn't really quite think so much about the day-to-day because I was nervous about it. But your day-to-day tasks stay the same. It's just like get up, get everybody dressed, get everybody fed, do whatever your activity is going to be for that day, sleep, eat, wake back up.
Nap.
All the day-to-day stuff is still the same. So it's just kind of doing the tasks or activities in a new city. So that's finding like what the city has for us to offer. So their playgrounds and their libraries, little like play gyms.
And that's and you did that when we were renting homes on our other travel assignments when we just had Reagan. That kind of, you enter a new city, figure out what's around, where's the nearest Target, where's the nearest Walmart,
Yeah.
Laundry mats you're thinking of if you don't have laundry in your home you're renting, the parks, the libraries. And so
I would say the girls' schedule's been kind of off and a little weird a few days, just because we're doing different activities and we're in a new space, so they're thrown off a little bit. So there's got to be a little bit of grace for that. There's been some good days. There's been a couple bad days since being here, but that's natural.
really we weren't sure how the sleep arrangement was going to go. So how our RV is laid out, we do have a full bunk room, and that's kind of the girls' room, Lainey and Reagan's room. Right now, just Reagan's in there, and we're using like a pack and play, and that's what she's sleeping in. And then Lainey, we have a little pop-up bassinet that we use for her to sleep kind of just by our kind of master bedroom, which really isn't that big of a room. It is technically a separate room, but it's mostly just all bed.
Yeah.
And then when we have this thing that we can sit on the bed that makes it a little more safe than just sitting your baby on like a soft bed. We usually put her down to go to sleep about the same time Reagan does. So they're kind of in separate rooms because we can close off that master bedroom. And so she kind of sleeps there before we move her to the official bassinet, because the bassinet doesn't fit in that room if it's kind of in the doorway of our room, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there isn't enough space between the wall and the bed for a bassinet to sit there like it usually would in a home. So it's been sitting right outside of the room. But everything is so close that you can still closely monitor the baby. It just means that she can't fit in the bassinet and be in a separate room. So right now with us podcasting, she wouldn't be able to be sleeping in the bassinet because she'd be out here in the room with us. So,
and really, I think I was really nervous on how they would adjust sleeping wise, but they've actually done pretty good overnight.
Mm-hmm.
We've only had a few nights where Lainey was up a little bit, but that's kind of normal even in the house. That was happening. But Reagan slept really good. Nap times have actually went not too bad. So that adjustment has went better than I think I was planning on.
How do you think RV life has been besides the parenting aspect?
Right. I think it's been good.
Technical.
We haven't had any temperatures below freezing, so that it's on my radar right now because I don't want our pipes to freeze or to cause any big inconveniences, right, with frozen water or pipes or any poor like repairs or leaks. And so just trying to outfit the RV with, a heated hose outside, skirt the RV so the bottom of it doesn't get too cold, and then just keeping it warm in here. It's been toasty in here.
It's hot right now.
It's very warm right now. So our propane furnace is working. And then when we don't need the propane furnace, we do have little electric heaters that we run. And all the rooms have been keeping nice and toasty.
Yeah, everything's working.
I feel like
I have to turn off the water when I leave to the camper because he doesn't want leaks to happen, which is understandable, but that's an extra task.
Yeah, I think that's a kind of a pro tip for if you're new to RVing. When you leave your RV, so like you're going to the store or maybe you're going to leave for the weekend, go over to where you're getting the water, the spigot, and turn it off. Go ahead and turn it all the way off, because if for some reason you had a leak in your RV and you're gone for that weekend, it'll just keep dumping water in there. And I've heard the horror stories of people coming back, they open up their front door and like water's just rushing down their stairs. And so just turn it off. When you get back, you can turn it right back on, and that kind of saves you maybe some water damage.
Gives you peace of mind too.
Mm-hmm.
Were you going to say something else?
I was going to say how we have felt, and you can hop in on this, going from a house, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and we don't have that big of a house, but a lot of room compared to moving down to this RV, which is maybe 300 square foot.
I don't know how to calculate that, but sure.
It's maybe like 300 square foot of living space. And so
I do know how to calculate it. I can't estimate it.
a lot smaller. And I actually feel like we've done okay. The routine stayed the same. It can get a lot more cluttered quickly, but it can also clean up quicker.
Mm-hmm. That has been nice. Today, actually, my grandparents came and visited, which was super nice because it was just nice to see a friendly face and have a little bit of home. And I think Reagan really liked it. But when I was preparing for them to come over, I was just picking up, and it took me like maybe 40 minutes to do like dishes, sweep. I reorganized a couple of things that we hadn't organized yet. I got dressed. I got my makeup on. Like all of that was done. That usually those are tasks that take a really long time for a stay-at-home mom, and it went really quickly. So that is nice. And sometimes it's been a little bit like, what else do I do? Because I'm used to it taking up more time.
Right. The bigger the house, the more ground you have to cover in cleaning and just tidying. And kids really spread out toys. And so bigger the house, the more toys everywhere. So it's actually been kind of nice. Also, like dishes, we don't have a dishwasher in here. We thought that was going to be like a big issue. But our sinks are a lot smaller, so you can't let dirty dishes pile up. So we hand wash them a lot more often.
Washing them goes faster.
It goes faster. So I actually think the tiny life hasn't been bad.
And somehow we have put everything away, and we still have like 4 or 5 cabinets or drawers that are not full. Like they might have one thing in there or 2, but they have plenty of room left. So I don't know if we are really just missed something, but I haven't missed anything so far, and we still have a lot of room for tucking things away. So that helps to have things have a place and be organized because it keeps everything else functioning.
Everything has to have a place. And here later in the segment, we'll go over kind of room by room some key features that we've really liked that we've added to the RV. And
things that we're using that are working well.
That really helps tiny living go better.
I will say the hard thing about living in a small space is during those times of high pressure or frustration, it can be hard to get through those times well when you have a small space, just because everything feels a little bit harder. You've got kids that are closer to you. You can't get away from them.
There's no getting away.
If you have things out on the floor, you're going to step and trip on them. All the normal parenting stuff sometimes can just feel a little bit harder during those times. But, that's part of those, like, hard times are part of parenting anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to get through them. And then the good times, like Reagan spent 2 hours this evening just playing in the RV, in her room, in the kitchen with her toys. We were able to still move around and do our stuff. She was having so much fun. So, like, all of the things that you need in life for a kid to play and be happy.
And we can keep an eye on Reagan pretty good here because she can't go anywhere, and we can see her from any part of the room because it's small. Yeah, so I think in conclusion, we have been adjusting to the RV life pretty well as a family. Mm-hmm. I know as a couple, when we set out and did RV life, we loved it. So without kids, we were having a blast. It was no issue living small. Like I've always said, if I would go back, or anytime I give advice to people who are looking to get into the RV life and you're a couple or maybe you're a solo traveler, think about going as small as you possibly can. It's less to maintain. You just need a bed to sleep in and a place just to feel a little bit comfortable, but you actually need a lot less space than you think. Mm-hmm. And then when you do need space, then you can go outside, you can go explore, which everyone needs a little bit more of that anyway. but I wasn't sure how it was going to be once we added kids to the equation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think upgrading our RV to a little bit bigger space, so we do have a room for the girls and we have a room with doors, has been very helpful. And I think it'll be very beneficial as time goes on, because we're kind of creating memories in here, and it's starting, as we organize it how we want to, it's starting to become another home, a home on wheels. And then no matter where we are in the United States, we get to bring that home with us, which is something we just absolutely loved when it was just me and you and Big Betty.
No, I think we are adjusting to it well. We'll just continue to see how it goes, and the weather is going to change here in a little bit to be a little colder. So we're going to have to get creative with indoor activities in a small space, but we'll just do what we can. We'll give updates along the way.
Yes, definitely.
So I think next we kind of want to go through room by room, some changes, either changes that we've made or certain things that we're using that we're finding really helpful just in the first couple days of us living in the RV with our kids.
Yes, so if you're thinking about getting an RV to do travel physical therapy or travel nursing, maybe listen in closely to this, because there might be some ideas for your RV or maybe your future RV that you can take from here that really makes life better and easier. And I don't know, we've just enjoyed certain aspects that we've added organizational wise.
So do you want to start with our bedroom? Just see if anything stands out to you. I know I have at least one thing that stands out to me that I really appreciate having in the RV that I think makes our space easier. Okay, so in our bedroom, there is a laundry chute on Ryan's side of the bed underneath his bedside table. And that has been very helpful. We have set it up so that there is a laundry basket underneath. It's kind of like one of those collapsible ones, but it is tall enough to touch the underside of his bedside table. So there's no room for the clothes to fall out of it when you throw it into the chute. And it's very nice to just have all of your clothes that need to be laundered out of the way.
Yeah, the laundry chute basically is just a lid that goes down into the storage, our exterior storage of the RV in the front of the RV. So we just put a little laundry basket there. Things we've done in the past in our other RV, under the bed, we had a laundry basket under there. And so just having your dirty clothes somewhere that can be out of sight for you, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing, and probably a routine that you'll see as we go through this, is don't be afraid to modify your RV to what you need. So under our bed, currently in the master bedroom, there was this big divider in the bed. Not a structural one, just like a little panel to separate sides. But I couldn't get our big suitcases that we brought all of our clothes in and that we use for traveling. I wanted to tuck those away under the bed in storage because we don't need to get those out often. But they wouldn't fit because of that divider. So what did I do? I busted that divider off, so now it can fit in there. So don't be afraid to make modifications, even minor ones, or major ones, to make your space usable, because you only have a little bit of space and you want to make every little space count.
Yeah.
Other than that, we added some little charger plugs up by our bedside tables to kind of accommodate some of the charging stuff. Little stuff like that.
We also went ahead and bought a nice set of sheets and a comforter. The same sheets that we have at home, because we really, really like them and we sleep well with those. So since we are spending many nights in the RV and living in it part of the year, we decided to go ahead and buy another set just so that we could feel comfortable and at home and sleep well. So that's, I think, another thing that I've enjoyed.
I think the next upgrade kind of in the master bedroom would be upgrading our mattress. So we just have kind of the RV generic mattress in there. It's not great. And again, if we're going to live in here part-time or half of the year, then you want a good night's rest. So we have been looking at some different RV mattresses. I don't know when we'll pull the trigger on that, but that'll probably be an upgrade that we look at investing into.
Okay.
And then another thing that we brought over, we have 2 little side cabinets for hanging clothes in our master. And we actually brought over some of those little hanging shelves that you just get from like Target or something. And we actually put our clothes in there because we don't have too much clothes storage for us in there. It's basically those cabinets. So we can do some folded clothes in there, and then we still have enough room to hang our few nice shirts. So something easy to do to kind of transform a space and really utilize all of it.
The next thing I will mention is kind of Lainey's sleeping situation because she sort of sleeps over in our area. But Ryan has mentioned we did bring a travel bassinet. It was part of like a Graco set that we got when I was pregnant with our first daughter. And it has actually turned out to be very useful, not only for her sleeping, but for a nice place to set her down during the day, where she can like stretch, but also she's not on the floor because sometimes Reagan has issues keeping her body to herself. So it's turned out to be really helpful in that regard. I wasn't really anticipating that. And then it's also collapsible. So if I do want to just put it away during the day, it collapses down. It like compacts down to probably about that size.
It goes flat.
And then it can fit between the end of our bed and the doors to our bedroom. So that's really nice.
Yeah. A huge bonus.
We can put a link in the description. Of that, what we use.
Of that set. So if you have kids, especially young kids, this is something invaluable for parents.
We also have a Snuggle Me lounger that we use. You know, as a parent, there's lots of different loungers you can put your child in, but she's still small enough that we can use that just if she is on a surface. I know she's not going to be falling or rolling off of it.
Right. So moving into our kind of living room, kitchen setup, we have kind of a big slide, which our dinette, which we're sitting in, and our couch sit on. It really opens up the space. And so when we first walk in through the door, where used to be a trash can, so they had this little spot in the RV where you can put a trash can in the cabinet, and then there was a little lid that came up off the counter, and you could drop trash down in there. And that's a cool design, but we never had a trash can that quite fit that space well. And then we always had stuff on top of the counter space. And so we needed to kind of utilize it a little bit different. And so we needed to figure out what we were going to do with shoes, because just like with laundry, shoes can just really clutter up the floor. And so we ended up getting a basket that fit perfect, a soft-sided basket that we could slide in there, and it's right by the door, and we can throw shoes in. And that's been awesome. Just have a place where dedicated for shoes. Yeah,
so where our trash can used to be, there is now a large shoe bin. So like Ryan was saying, there's like a cabinet door, and the bin is tucked into that cabinet door. And the aspect where it worked for the trash can was there was a little opening on top of the island that would just drop down into that cabinet. But we don't use that. We need all the counter space that we can get. And it's worked really well, especially because we didn't bring very many shoes. So, I mean, if we didn't have a place for shoes, it would feel like they were everywhere. But this bin holds them well with room to spare. So that's really nice.
So then you might be asking, okay, Ryan and Megan, what did you do with your trash can then?
We don't have trash.
If you put your shoe bin there. And one of the best things that's ever happened, at least in this RV. So in our our pantry. So we have like a door and like a full pantry. There was just this kind of box at the bottom, and it was pretty big. I mean, went up to about my knee or a little bit higher, just kind of a blocked space. And as I was thinking through the systems of the RV, I was like, I don't understand why this box is here. It's not hiding anything. So I did some investigation work and took it apart. And there is a huge unused space underneath this box in our pantry. So big that we could put a tall stand-up trash can in there with like an open lid. That's how big this box was. And so it was great. We got to put our trash kind of in there. It's tucked out of the way.
It's so wonderful.
And I think
the best find so far.
Yes, it was a really great find. I think we're going to do a reel on that. And we took some footage of it. So you'll have to check that out. And then I guess that space, it looks like there's some plumbing there to where you could eventually put a small washer dryer combo. But we had no idea that was there. That was just... it was behind all these walls. And so
Yeah, that's exciting.
another big
And we didn't know
modification.
the RV came with hookups already because Ryan had even talked about, he's like, if there's nothing under that space, I think I could probably run this and then we could plug in the washer, and it's already ran for you.
It's already
in case we
ran.
want it.
So that was great, and it allowed us to do the shoe bin.
The only other thing I feel like in the kitchen and the living space area is, we use our oven to kind of hold our pots and pans and stuff because we don't really use that to cook. It's just a little finicky and hard to cook with. So we do have a toaster oven that we use most of the time. And then that leaves a big box of the oven available for storage.
We've tried cooking in the RV ovens. They're really tough because they're propane ran, and it's just a propane burner on the bottom. And so it's like, it always scorches the bottom of whatever you're trying to cook in the oven. There's different tricks out there, but it's just not worth the hassle. So we have just a simple toaster oven we can put up on the counter, and then we got to utilize the space. So like Megan said, we put our big pots and pans and store it in our oven.
I thought of 2 more kitchen things.
Yeah, go ahead.
We got a paper towel roll holder that can be mounted to a wall or under a cabinet. That is great because you need all the counter space you can get. So leaving paper towels sitting on the counter doesn't really work in an RV. And then we also got a dish drainer that fit our sink. So when you're washing dishes, you can either set them out on a towel to dry, or you can set them out on a dish rack to dry. And we had a large one that didn't fit under our sink cabinet, and it didn't fit over our sink. And we do have a double-sided sink. And I didn't want to have to clear off the counter every time I needed to do the dishes. So we chucked the big one and we bought a new one that's smaller, but that's okay because we do smaller amounts of dishes more often. And it fits right over the sink. And then it also fits underneath the cabinet. It's skinny enough. The other one was way too wide. So that is a huge benefit, just finding things that work for your space, because otherwise it's just not, it's going to be clunky and not functional and make it way less enjoyable.
Yeah. Try to reduce the friction on everything. If there's less friction, you utilize it more, you're happier.
And then we also have a hanging fruit basket we actually got from IKEA for Big Betty that somehow made its way over to this RV with all the shuffle.
I don't know
so
how.
That's hanging on a command hook. It's hanging within reach of the girls, so that might have to change. But
might have to change.
But that's a nice place to keep fresh fruit that would sit on the counter otherwise as well.
Yeah, so that is kind of the living room, kitchen space, some little tips there. I love that tip on the towel holder, paper towel holder. This is our 4th install of that
I think it's our third.
Our 3rd install of that same paper towel holder. We have it in our home. We had it in Big Betty, and now we have it in this RV.
We can link that too. It's been good.
It's been really good. We'll go into the bathroom. Our bathroom is nothing special. It's a small bathroom, but what we do like about it is we do have a tub, so we can, the girls have already taken baths in there, so we can wash them up. And then we're working on some hooks in there. We've been trying to use command strips. Some of them have stuck, some of them fall off. So we haven't quite figured that out, but the idea behind the command strips is I don't have to put a hole in the wall, one. And then also we can do some command strips in the shower, so we can hang towels in there when we're not using the shower. They're kind of out of the way. And then some command strips above our toilet out of the shower, so we can pull those towels out when we need to use the shower. And then same thing, we have a little bath lounger for Lainey to sit in, so we need to hang that up in there. And then a toy bin for Reagan.
Another thing we just bought, we haven't installed yet, is a curtain shower rod that pushes out. So we had this in Big Betty too, and it made the shower feel so much bigger. But essentially it kind of collapses into the bathtub when you're not using it. And then when you are, it pushes out so that the curtain hangs further away and you have a little bit more arm room.
Right. It kind of arcs outward out of the shower, just giving you just a little bit more space, but it makes a huge difference.
And it's not one of those rigid curved shower curtain rods, because I do know those are out there too, which help a little bit, but it kind of goes a little step beyond that.
This one hinges. So then when you're not in the shower, you can push it actually back into the shower. And now the space in your bathroom is bigger. It's really awesome. Again, we'll try to link down an Amazon link to that.
I'm looking in the room right now, trying to think of anything else. We don't have anything sitting on our bathroom counter, which is kind of huge. Like, I don't understand where all of our stuff went.
Hey,
how
we're
we
doing
packed
good.
so light.
I think we packed lighter than we intended. Like, I think we have forgot something. We just didn't give ourselves enough time. But again, that just goes to show you really don't need as much stuff as we have.
I think one other thing before moving on to the girls' room is in the pantry on the door, I put a command strip to hang their bibs so that they weren't taking up like pantry space or laying around random places.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Girls' room.
Off to the girls' room. So our bunk room has 3 bunks and then one kind of like fold out couch mat thingy.
Mm-hmm. And there's 2 slide outs in that room.
2 slide outs, so it makes the room actually pretty big, and there's a lot of storage on the back wall. And so we've used one of those closets for kind of our coat and jacket storage for everyone, and then the rest of the drawers and stuff have some of the girls' stuff in there. We do have a laundry basket in a cabinet, was able to stand tall in there. So again, that dirty clothes is kind of out of the way, but for the girls. And then the top bunks, the girls aren't sleeping on it. They're not old enough. So we've kind of been using it as storage, like toy storage. So we have some bins up there, which has been good. So kind of utilizing different space because we don't have much storage underneath the RV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, though, they're not cluttered with a ton of stuff, which is kind of insane as well. Back to that, like, what? How did this happen? But something I've been doing with our toys, because I have talked before about liking to kind of rotate things in and out. I just don't want all of the toys to be present all at once because it can be overwhelming. We have like one spare toy bin that's like a large clear storage bin with a lid that I have all of our other toys in. And then we have a basket that I'm keeping the active ones in. And then we have a lower bunk that kind of works as like a low toddler sized table. So that really worked out well because we can place toys on that. And Reagan can play with the toys there. So that really was nice and worked out well. And then for Reagan's sleeping space, she's using a pack and play, and we were able to move one of the like fold out couches that sits on the ground in place of a 4th bunk bed. We have that couch. We were able to move one half of it out so that the pack and play can kind of slip into that area and get tucked away during the day when Reagan is awake. And then when she's sleeping, we pull it out into the middle of the room and she sleeps in the pack and play. So that's been really nice that we don't have to collapse it down every time, but it doesn't have to stay in her play space. It tucks out of the way, which is great.
This is the same pack and play that we used on our 2 contracts, one in kind of southern Missouri and then in Texas with Reagan. So Reagan's actually slept quite a few nights in a pack and play. And probably one of the most useful things if you have young kids is get you a pack and play because they can pack down nice. And it's a good sleeping option for a crib instead of buying like an actual crib to place in there.
And I think if we wanted to transition her out of the pack and play, or if you didn't want to bring a pack and play and have to pop it up or down, she could start sleeping maybe on one of those couches that are folded out or in the low bunk. And then we wouldn't have to worry about moving the pack and play in and out, but I don't want to change that up yet. So,
yep, we're not there yet. All right. I think that's pretty well it. That was the main things. As for the outside of the RV, like I mentioned, we have a heated hose right now. And then we're going to try to skirt it, kind of get it prepared for winter. We do have an outdoor kitchen. So we do have some fun adult drinks in our outdoor kitchen and some fizzy waters and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
adult drinks if you mean water and Diet Coke and fizzy water.
We've done really well with our residential refrigerator in here, but it's kind of nice to know that we have like a secondary mini fridge outside in case we need to store some more stuff.
Yeah, another thing we did get for Christmas, an early Christmas present from some family, was a wagon that we can kind of transport the kids in or their stuff. So I just popped that out the other day, but my intention is to like put quilts in there and extra toys, and then I can bring that with us to the playground and have extra supplies instead of going to the playground, needing something, trying to get Reagan to come back to the rig, doing back and forth, stuff like that.
All righty. I think that covers kind of our move, our RV, what it's been like living in an RV as a family of 4. And so let's go ahead and move on to our last segment. What's been good, what's been poopy. But before we cover that, if you are interested in doing this lifestyle of travel therapy and you need some recruiter recommendations, please reach out to us. Click the link down in the description. That'll take you to a form on our website. And you just put a little bit about yourself. That helps us pair you with a recruiter that we personally work with and trust, that we feel like you match up well to. So click on that link, or as always, leave us a comment, send us a direct message, or send us an email at ryanandmeganorear@gmail.com.
Nice, Ryan.
All right, Megan. So what's been
I get to go.
what's been poopy?
What has been poopy, and I'm wondering if I'm taking yours, is our mattress.
Oh,
Did I take it?
nope, you didn't take it, but that has
Oh.
been very poopy.
Yes, this RV mattress, not the greatest. So wake up sore, my SI is hurting. It's just not a good
I think
situation.
I have scoliosis now.
But I don't want to spend money on a new RV mattress because Christmas is coming and I don't want an RV mattress to be our gift because that's boring.
Our gift to ourselves. But then there's the flip side of it, of like how many nights or how many hours a year do you spend in sleeping on a mattress? Probably worth the investment.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've got any good mattress recommendations for an RV, let us know.
All right,
We're in the market.
what's been good?
What's been good is we got to go like on a big shopping spree for the RV, and that was fun. Also, I felt the stress with that.
It was a big
Takes a
shopping
lot
spree.
to make me feel stressed about the shopping spree, but it was fun for the first half until I realized we had to check out.
Yeah. But that was us getting, the bed sheets and the new comforter, something that we felt comfortable with, new towels for the RV, and all this stuff is kind of
trash can.
Yeah, all this stuff is specific to the RV that we're going to leave in here. So then when we go on contract, even if we've been home for a little bit, it's more of just hook up the RV and let's rock and roll.
Yeah. Okay, your turn. What's been poopy?
So what's been poopy is I about had a poopsie, which is a sewer accident outside the RV.
That would have been really
I went to
bad.
pull the gray tank and I had our hose hooked up, but it wasn't fully hooked up on the bottom rung. And a bunch of gray water started dumping out. Thankfully, I pulled the gray water because it's mostly just soapy like shower water and not sewage. So that could have been very poopy.
Oh my gosh.
Literally. And then I bought new sewer hoses and they came in and they were really, really short, wouldn't reach the thing. So that just kind of stinks.
That's good.
So what's been good is we've been keeping track since we're PTs of the PT Compact, and Washington, D.C. just became part of that PT Compact. It's always good when new states or districts, in this case, are entering into that PT Compact. Makes licensing for travelers so much easier. If you don't know about the PT Compact, go ahead and look on it online. Check out the map, see if your state's a part of it, especially if you're a physical therapist. And maybe we'll do an episode on the PT Compact.
It
But
was really nice.
it's always awesome to see a new area join.
Well, thank you for joining in today's episode. I hope it was helpful. And until next time,
See ya.